Welcome to How Now, the podcast where we talk about how to live in the now. And here's your host, Kim Martin Raymond.
Peace and blessings, love and light. This is Kim Martin Raymond, host of the How Now podcast, where we talk about how to live in the now. I am your host, and I am a minister. I'm a spiritual life coach. I am an author, and I am the founder of Redefining You, LLC, where I help my clients to realign themselves, mind, body, and spirit. Tonight, we're going to be talking about a topic that is instrumental in what's happening right now. And right now we're talking about our youth. You know, as children are finding their way back to school and getting back to face-to-face learning, some are still doing a hybrid of virtual learning and face-to-face. And, we've had many controversies, things that have been talked about with regards to mask mandates and other things that are going on. But we also have other programs that are taking place in and around the country and also right here in the state of Georgia. So we're going to talk about one such program. And as is customary with the How Now podcast, I'm going to ask my guest to introduce herself at this time, and we'll get started talking about her program. Lori?
Hello, everyone. My name is Lori A. Mans, and I am the founder and president of Live Healthy and Thrive Youth Foundation, Incorporated. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization based right here in Atlanta. And our mission is to educate, activate, motivate, and empower youth in the areas of academic achievement, fitness, nutrition, and total wellness. So Kim, I am ecstatic to be here and I can't wait to dive into this conversation.
Yes, I am excited that you are here. You and I have been friends for a number of years, and then we lost touch for a little while and then we kind of reconnected. And so it's wonderful to see you again. I'm glad to see all of the wonderful things that you are doing through your organization and also outside of your organization, because you do wear many hats. And I am just thrilled that you've taken time out of your busy schedule to join us today on the How Now podcast. So, of course, let's talk a little bit about the program, because the one thing that I love about your mission is that you talk about, helping in terms of education, in terms of fitness and health. I mean, all of the things that help to make our children well-rounded. It's not just about academics. It's not just about talents and sports. It's not just about fitness and nutrition. It's a culmination of all of those things. So talk a little bit about how you started the program.
Well, I started the organization back in 2010. And it's so hard for me to believe that, oh my gosh, it's been 11 years now. But I started it with the desire and the calling, you could say, to just simply give back to my community and to inspire people in my family, as well as people in the area where I live, to help our kids get healthier so that they can live stronger, more well-balanced lifestyles. And back then, I would go and speak in schools and I would see children who were obese and not really getting proper exercise. And, it was very disheartening for me, because I would go to career days and speak to students and talk to them about their desires to, what do you want to be when you grow up? And not enough kids said that they wanted to be doctors and, in the medical profession, and even wanting to be teachers. A lot of them were saying they wanted to be in the entertainment industry. And so I was like, we got to put more kids in the mindset of wanting to be in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And we got to put more in their mindsets about wanting to be in medicine and healthcare and, education. And so I said, what can I do? And that's when the idea popped into my head. Well, let me start doing more work with schools. And as I began doing that work, I found out that I really needed to have an organization. I really need to have a company or a foundation under my belt. And so I started one. And the rest is history, as they say.
Yes, I mean, and that's wonderful because, like you said, with the push, especially in our education system, with STEM and with, and even some using terms such as STEAM, where they're talking about not just science and technology, the arts, and mathematics, and it's just really been, and engineering. All those things are important and are key to our children. And just like you said, it's difficult to watch so many children, I guess, because of what they see in social media and on television. Everything is about that quick, easy money that they can see by going into, entertainment, going into music, going into rapping. And it doesn't require, it does require you having some acumen with regards to math, and hopefully they're looking into that. Some children don't even see that. They just see the dollar signs and where's the dotted line that they're supposed to sign on. Yeah. And not realizing that there's so much more to that, and so much more to being in that field, but wanting, like you said, to get into the field of health and get into the field of science and medicine, because it's just not something that's pushed,
Right. And today is so easy to pay attention to social media and to want to be a YouTube star. Right. Or want to be IG famous or TikTok famous or whatever social media platform. Right. And, all you need to do is cut some videos and then, become an influencer. And today it's so easy for kids to get sidetracked and think that everyone can do that, right? It's just like, watching the NBA and thinking that everybody can be an NBA star. Well, no, not everyone can be an NBA star. And not everyone can be a social media influencer. Not everyone has the personality to do that. So that's why it's so important to educate our children to stay in school, develop healthy habits, and also to make sure that they are setting themselves up for a winning future by getting a proper education. And that does mean going to college.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then just like you said, the health piece, especially now in the midst of this pandemic, how important is it for our children to be healthy, to be able to stave off some of the, effects of this pandemic? So, not only is it important for them to have that education, it's important for them to be here to be able to execute the things that they've learned, because we are seeing so many of our young people, passing away. We're seeing people in my age range, in their 50s and their 60s, being taken out of here. And that's definitely a concern, because, we don't want to, see our youth, expire or leave this earth before we do. They're our future, our legacy. And so there's so much more, to being well-rounded than just having that education, but being able to be here, that's important.
And that starts with developing healthy habits. And that's one of the things that we teach at Live Healthy and Thrive Youth Foundation. Our programs are centered around wellness, and that is every aspect of the mind, body, and spirit. And so not only do we tackle the fitness part, but we tackle the food part, the nutrition part. Like, what are you putting in your body? And are you getting proper exercise? And then are you also stimulating your mind by reading books and doing proper self-care and, getting that checkup if you have to, if you need to see a therapist because you're suffering from depression or anxiety, any of that stuff. So of course, primarily we like to focus on the food, fitness, and nutrition. But in these pandemic times, we've also understood very well that it also has to be a focus on mental health as well. And so the whole entire mind, body, and spirit is what we're focusing on, especially in this year and next year. And so we're just, excited to be able to continue to do this work. And one of our core programs is our Gardens Are for Kids program, where we build a garden at a school from the ground up and teach kids where their food comes from so they know the origins of food, and they don't have to dip back into unhealthy habits of having everything that's, fried and coming in a bag or a box. but they can understand that they can source their own food and grow it in their own backyard and be able to eat it within a couple of months. Like, how great is that, right?
Right. And how timely is that? With all the things that we've seen so many people who have started gardens since this pandemic started and have seen the importance of being able to grow their own produce. And I mean, what a wonderful gift for children to be able to have the knowledge to be able to not only do that, at their local schools, but also be able to do it at home, to be able to, bring their families in and start those same types of gardens and things like that in their communities. So, just like you bring things to them, they can in turn turn around and take those things into their communities and use them for their benefit as well. So that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. And the best part is that kids remember these lessons for a lifetime. If someone were to have shown you at the age of 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 how to plant vegetables, that's something that you would remember. It's a transferable skill, but it's also a skill that lasts for a lifetime, because if you do it one time, something just as simple as planting vegetables is something that you remember, like, oh, we didn't do it like that, we did it like this. Right. And if they learn why certain things are done, and when you plant a garden, that's incorporating science, mathematics, and technology, and all of these learning skills and applicable lessons that they're going to be able to take with them in other areas of their life is something that is priceless.
That's it. It is priceless. And like you said, it's all about sustainability. Sustainability, not only nutritionally, but also, like you said, education-wise, being able to broaden your base so that you're able to navigate and operate in different areas.
Yes.
So you're not pigeonholed into doing one particular thing, but that you see that there are options. And that's so important, I think, for our youth to be able to see that they have options, that
Right.
there are other things that they can be doing besides, like you said, beyond the 15 minutes of fame.
Right.
Something that they can be able to do if they're an athlete and they're able to do it for a certain period of time, that they know that after that they have other options, they have other areas that they can they can go into because they have that knowledge. So it's important to be able to let our children know these are your opportunities, so that way they can make informed decisions. That's what's important, to be able to make those informed decisions, right?
Yeah. And I heard a quote, and right now I cannot remember who said it, but the quote basically states that children become what they see.
Yeah.
And whoever said that was so spot on, because children really do aspire to be whatever they see displayed in front of them. And if that is, a doctor, or if that's a lawyer, or if that is a chiropractor, a dentist, or astronaut, you name it, they are wanting to be what they see. And because social media is so prevalent, many of these kids want to be whatever they see on social media or whatever they see on TV. And so you're right, it is really our children are a product of their environment.
Yes.
And they are also a product of what they see displayed in front of them. So we want to give them the opportunity to see professional people.
Yes.
Who are able to be role models for them, that they have been able to meet and or see on a screen, like in a screen, not a TV screen, but a live screen where they have been on a virtual training, or they have been face-to-face in person with that doctor or that dentist or that teacher, or that whoever it is that we bring for them to see. And so that's just something that we've seen that has been so impactful, because the parents come back and tell us, oh my gosh, that doctor that you guys had come and speak at the workshop, my kids just remembered it. Oh, that chef that you had come and do the demo, my kids love that, recipe, and we even make it at home. Those are the things that we get told by our parents. And we know that, okay, it's working, and it's making an impact on our children.
Absolutely. And, it's like I said, I think about when we were kids and, career day used to be great because all the firemen and policemen and all these people used to come to the school and we'd be like, wow, and nurses and doctors, and we'd be all impressed. And, you go to some of these career days and people are coming in, yeah, I work here, I work there. Or it's lost its zest, and that was something that, has been difficult. And so it's wonderful that, we have platforms where people can come in and especially for our, Black and brown children to be able to see people that look like us and to be able to see women in prevalent positions, because that hasn't always been the case. And we've seen people step into wonderful positions of power, and it's always important to have platforms to showcase people who have worked hard and who have, gained their education and gotten their degrees and done the work to be able to get into that position. And so, platforms like these are important for our youth. Like I said, especially our Black and brown boys, especially, but especially for our young ladies too, especially in the fields of science and technology. We're seeing a surge in that, and it's beautiful to be able to showcase and to highlight that.
Absolutely.
And so one thing I did want to ask is, I know that, COVID hit last year, and I'm sure that it put a little bit of a the brakes on a few things. How are you able to make some of the transitions there?
Well, with COVID bursting onto the scene and the pandemic affecting everything from basically March or April of 2020 until this point, it forced us to do some of our programming virtually. Mm-hmm. It forced us to do our board meetings virtually. It also tightened up the purse strings with some of our prior donors and some of our prior sponsors. And so we just had to try to get more creative about raising money. We had to get more creative about how we were going to execute our programs. And then what we're having to deal with now is that everybody is having, virtual meeting fatigue, and they're like, oh, if I got to get on one more Zoom meeting, or if I got to get on one more WebEx meeting, or whatever the case. The issue is that, we got to do what we got to do, right? So we don't want to stop doing the work. We're not going to stop doing the work. So we just have to find more creative ways to make an impact. And, so our summer camp this year, it was virtual, but we did, get to the school to be able to give kids their prizes and gift bags for participating in the program, to give them an incentive. But we have just kept going. We have kept going in the sense that we have done community fundraisers, and we're working on some fundraisers for the fall so we can do our fall programs. And we're just going to keep going and doing what we have to do, because at the end of the day, we want to continue doing this work. The work is needed, and we cannot not show up for our children. And at the end of this year, on December 4th, we're hosting our 11th annual Pinnacle Awards and Scholarship Gala. And that's going to be in this year on December the 4th. And we're going to limit the amount of people who come live to the event. We're going to live stream the event. And so we're just going to make the concessions where we can, how we can, so that we can continue to do the work that we feel like is needed and is very impactful in our community.
And I love that. I love that you do have that event, and that you do it annually, and that, children are being recognized, and children are being offered opportunities to be able to advance, because we know that, there are challenges, there are still challenges we have going down the pathway, even in educating our children and in doing things virtually, because there are some who don't have access. And so we know that can be a challenge as well. And I mean, just like you said, we're all taking steps and trying to find creative ways in which to bring this information, in which to create these platforms and to bring this information to our youth,
Yeah.
those who can get it, and then putting it in the hands of those who may not, have the opportunities to get it all virtually, that they're still having an opportunity to hear it
Yes, and to
or to
engage.
experience it.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
And you're right, because one of the things that we had set out to do earlier this year was to try to provide computers. And the company that we were going to partner with, instead of going through the nonprofit organizations that they had initially said that they were going to partner up with,
Mhm.
they said, you know what, we're just going to go straight to the schools. And so
Wow.
they did that. And so the nonprofits were left to say, oh, okay, well, what are we going to do now? So we had to try to get creative to do our own work and to do our own programs where we then, went straight to the community as well. And so it is just a forever changing world.
Yes, yes.
And the times are different. And we find that we have to be able to transform, reevaluate, and pivot whenever is necessary. And so our plans remain fluid, and we just remain innovative and as creative as we possibly can to make sure that the work still gets done and still gets done at a quality level where we feel like excellence has still played a role in our delivery.
Absolutely. And what I think is, what a better way to have the children to see these experiences that we're going through, and the transparency that comes along with saying, okay, we're having to pivot. You see, we have to make changes. Everything doesn't happen as seamlessly as we want it to. And when things like this happen, children are looking to see how we're going to react. They're looking to see how we're going to respond. They're looking to see what things we're going to do when we're met with challenges. And so I think it's a wonderful way in which our children can see that this is how we problem solve. This is how we cope. This is how we, deal with adversity on levels beyond anything that you could have imagined.
And so, beyond anything you can control.
Yes, yes. And that they can see that this is what can happen. Sometimes you're not always going to be in control of the things that are going on around you. And here are some of the ways that you can deal with it. These are some of the ways that you can be innovative and creative and use some of the tools and the things that you've learned to, to be able to maneuver, to be able to transform, to be able to make those pivots.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. So I'm just so committed and dedicated to continue this work. So thank you for having a platform to just be able to talk about it.
Yes, because it's important and it's needed. And just like I said, the platform of the How Now is talking about the now. And this is what's happening right now, but this is not going to always be the now. There'll be other things that are going to happen. There'll be new things that are going to come down the pike. The old is behind us. We're looking forward to what's coming, next. But we're going to continue to move in this space of now and figure out what's best to help us as we're moving forward. So I thank you, like I said, for the work that you're doing. I thank you for the commitment that you have to your community, to our youth. And, and I just pray that you continue to push forward in that effort.
Thank you so much. It means the world to me, Kim. I appreciate that.
Yes. Now, of course, before we wrap things up, I definitely want to ask you about what you're doing to cope in this now, because, many of our listeners, week after week, I talk about creating our peaceful existence, which is the acronym for COPE, so people are trying to figure out, how do I live in this space? How do I navigate in this space? And people are doing different things to help in that process, especially with this uptick. What are some of the things that you're doing in this now?
Wow. First of all, I love that acronym, creating our peaceful existence. That is powerful. And creating a peaceful existence for me means, first of all, protecting my peace. So anything that comes to rob, kill, steal, destroy, it gets shut down immediately. I also believe in self-care. So I take time for me. As busy as I am, I run a for-profit and a nonprofit.
Yeah.
And both of those businesses I run at the helm is, me, I'm the leader, and a very, very small team. So I try to practice self-care and take some time for me mentally to just unplug, read a book, take a bubble bath, do whatever I feel like I need to do to get my mental space in a healthy environment, in a healthy state. And then I pray and I meditate. And for me, prayer and meditation is how I center myself.
Yes.
And I also keep a gratitude journal, and I have a few people around me who don't mind telling me like it is. So I
Okay.
also get that feedback when I need to have it. And so
Yes, that's important.
those are the things. But most importantly, I try to just protect my space and my peace, and practice having a healthy mindset and thinking positive. That's something that is hard to do when you see devastation and death
Yes.
all around you, and this pandemic has brought devastation and death to many families and many households,
That's right.
and some in my family and people that I know. And so it's been very challenging, to say the least. But in the midst of it all, I'm still a believer, and I know God is still good. And
Yes.
I just try to do the best I can and let Him handle the rest.
That's it. That's all you can do. Okay, so you heard it. Those are some of the things that Ms. Lori Mans is doing to live in this now. And like I said, those are wise words from a wise woman, like you said, who is very busy and wears many hats. So let us know how people can get in contact with you if they're interested in the organization, or if they're just interested in some of the other services that you provide.
Well, as I stated, as a philanthropist and entrepreneur, I run a nonprofit and a for-profit. My for-profit business is called Quality Media Consultant Group, and we provide media, marketing, and sales services for small business owners to teach them how to grow and scale their businesses. And that website is qualitymediaconsultants.com. And in regards to the nonprofit philanthropy work that I do, that organization, once again, is called Live Healthy and Thrive Youth Foundation. And that website is www.livehealthyandthriveyouth.org. And if you want to be involved, all you have to do is go to our website, fill out a volunteer form, or if you'd like to serve on our board of directors, we have a couple of seats open. Inquire on our team page. Again, the website is livehealthyandthriveyouth.org. And we also have an 800 number, and that is 1-800-551-3775. So contact us, reach out. We're also on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Awesome. Look, all the ways in which
all the ways,
to connect.
Right?
Okay, that's what media is about. That's what I'm sure your quality media consulting group is all about, helping people to be able to get themselves out there and get their businesses noticed and contacted. And that's what's important. That's what's important. So again, we'll have that information in the description for the show. And again, that's www.livehealthyandthriveyouth.org. That's for the Live Healthy and Thrive Youth Foundation. And then also qualitymediaconsultant.com. And that's for the Quality Media Consultant Group.
Yes.
Okay, did I get that right?
Yes, so that's qualitymediaconsultants.com. So consultant with the S on the end.
With the S, okay, don't forget the S, it changes everything. So again, Lori, I thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim.
Yes, I thank you so much for taking the time to come out and to let people know about the organizations and the wonderful work that you're doing. And I wish you much, much continued success and blessings over all that it is that you seek to do. And may God find favor in everything that you are doing for our youth, for our families, and for our community. Thank you so much,
dear. Much love to you.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
So that will do it for this edition of the How Now podcast, where we talk about how to live in the now. And until I see you the next time, I say peace.